A crazy cult wants to burn your aunt alive. The governor wants to eliminate you. There's a bunch of kids to take care of. What you gonna do? You're at the capital just to teach acupuncture. Let's see if Wong Fei Hung can rescue his aunt and save the kids in this condensed version of Once Upon a Time in China 2. The movie opens with a section of devotees who eagerly believe in the White Lotus prophecy, which promises the liberation of all nations from oppression upon the Lotus arrival in the mortal realm. They joyously receive Grandmaster Gao Gung, who is revered as the spiritual guide of the southerly heavenly gates, along with the esteemed Azure Dragon and White Tiger. Gao Gung's purpose is to demonstrate his extraordinary magical abilities and impart teachings on the spiritual empowerment. The Azure Dragon and White Tiger assert the invincibility bestowed upon them by their magic, confidently proving their resilience by handling burning incense without harm and even biting into it with ease. Now, it's Gao Gung's turn to display his mythical abilities, as he invokes the Eternal Mother's blessings to bestow upon him a body that is resilient as gold, iron, and stone. Gao Gung confidently asserts the resistance of his body to 1,000 knives or wounds, remaining unscathed and without a trace of scars. He declares his immunity to all forms of military weaponry, including swords and guns, describing this unparalleled magic as the hallmark of the White Lotus Society's supremacy over any demonic forces. To illustrate the extent of his powers, Gao Gung allows his followers to attempt to harm him, yet the efforts prove futile. Unable even to pierce his skin with swords, undeterred, he invites armed men wielding rifles to test his resilience. Donning a tank top adorned with the protective seal of the White Lotus, he withstands their gunfire without flinching, as if the bullets were harmless. Transitioning to a symbolic act, Gao Gung instructs his followers to bring forth various objects symbolizing Western influence, including a Western dog, which he considers demonic. Encouraging the destruction of these symbols, the crowd chants for elimination of all foreigners, envisioning a future of peace and security under the umbrella of the White Lotus. The scene shifts to Wong Fei Hung, Foon, and 13th Aunt embarking on their initial journey aboard a steam train bound for the capital, where a medical conference awaits them. As they arrive, 13th Aunt admires the attire of some children and intends to capture their image. However, the children respond with disdain, hurling food at her and hurling insults, labeling her a foreign devil due to her unconventional dress. In defense of 13th Aunt, Foon retaliates by flinging cups at the children, inadvertently causing one of them for injury. Following that, the White Lotus Society stages a siege outside the China telegraph station, proclaiming their mission is to deliver salvation by expelling what they deem as Western evils. Meanwhile, separated from Fei Hung, Foon and 13th Aunt venture towards the scene to set up a camera for documentation. As 13th Aunt captures an image of the gathering, the onlookers become startled, attributing her actions to an ability to discharge electricity. Mistakenly perceived as sorceress by the White Lotus Society, they seek to apprehend her, citing her Western outfit as proof of her demonic association. Despite Foon's attempts to intervene and protect her, they are overwhelmed by the crowd's numbers. Now, 13th Aunt is being taken captive, destined for the monastery where they plan to execute her by burning her at the stake. Emerging from the mob, Wong Fei Hung springs into action with a powerful leap, executing a flying kick to intervene in the unfolding crisis. Challenged by the Divine Chief, who demands to know who dares oppose this mission of expelling demons, Fei Hung boldly identifies himself as Wong Fei Hung from Foshan. Undiscouraged by Fei Hung's presence, the chief persists in this pursuit of 13th Aunt's cap, ordering his lackeys to confront Fei Hung. With skillful ease, Fei Hung dispatches the henchmen, ensuring the safety of those present. However, with his attention momentarily diverted, the chief seizes the opportunity to blow a powdery substance towards Fei Hung and 13th Aunt. While Fei Hung successfully deflects the attack of his fan, 13th Aunt succumbs to the effects of the sleeping powder and loses consciousness. Faced with their setbacks, the White Lotus Society retreat in a disgraceful defeat. Fei Hung condemns their deceitful actions, particularly their misuse of divine authority for personal gain. The following day, Wong Fei Hung is teaching a class comprised of both Western and Chinese physicians, educating them on how intricate the nervous system is, and demonstrating acupuncture techniques. While Dr. Sun, a fellow Chinese doctor fluent in English, translates Fei Hung's teachings for the group. The Western doctors are astounded by his expertise. Suddenly, chaos erupts as a doctor is struck by a flaming arrow out of nowhere, followed by a barrage of arrows piercing through the window, causing injuries among the attendees. During the madness, Fei Hung managed to seize one of the messages attached to the arrow, revealing a sinister decree: annihilate the West. It appears that the White Lotus Society has resumed their violent activities. In the governor's chambers, a telegraph has arrived from the informant, alerting them to the emergence of a figure named Sun Wen, who intends to lead a rebellion against China. Sun Wen is affiliated with the Agriculture Science Society and advocates for the establishment of a democratic system in the country. Behind the scenes, one of the primary backers of this movement is identified as Lu Hao Dong. The governor expresses frustration, recognizing that with the White Lotus Society causing disturbances, they lack sufficient resources to confront both factions effectively. Pressure grips the room as they realize the imminent threat of an all-out war and the need for swift action to prevent further escalation. The following day, Wong Fei Hung and his companions quickly prepare to depart for the train station. Suddenly, a frantic passerby alerts them that the White Lotus Society is rampaging through the Chinese library, indiscriminately attacking people. Recognizing the urgency of the situation, the dire need for assistance, they swiftly change course and rush to the scene. Upon arrival, they are greeted by a scene of chaos and devastation. Smoke fills the air, and lifeless bodies pierced by arrows litter the floor. It's a grim sight, as they realize they have arrived too late to save most of the students who were mercilessly targeted. Amidst the wreckage, they discover a few children who managed to hide and survive the onslaught. It becomes evident that the students were targeted simply for their pursuit of learning the English language. Fei Hung urgently seeks an audience with the governor, pleading for the protection for the school children who are in imminent danger from the White Lotus Society. Aware that the children's lives hang in balance, Fei Hung implores the governor to intervene. However, upon reaching the governor's residence, Fei Hung is unexpectedly challenged to a sparring match. Despite the perplexing turn of events, Fei Hung engages in combat, skillfully countering the governor's attacks with a bamboo stick. It's crazy how if you go to the governor and ask for his help and he just wants to fight you. Eventually, the governor acknowledges Fei Hung's remarkable prowess, attributing his actions to demonstration of the Shaolin stick method, which he commends for its effectiveness. Regrettably, the governor admits that the White Lotus Society possesses a significant threat, particularly since most of their troops have been deployed elsewhere for support. With a heavy heart, the governor expresses remorse for being unable to offer the assistance Fei Hung desperately seeks. 13 On has taken the school children to the nearby consulate for safety. Meanwhile, Foon and Fei Hung attempt to gain entry but encounter difficulty due to the lack of English proficiency. Fortunately, Lu Hao Dong arrives to facilitate the communication and grants them access. As they engage in conversation, refugees from the capital, including foreign merchants and their families, seek sanctuary at the consulate after they've been targeted by the White Lotus Society. Sun Wen arrives to assist the injured. However, outside the consulate, the White Lotus continues their violent acts by burning Western-style dolls. Suddenly, the tranquility inside is shattered as flaming arrows rain down on the consulate. In a desperate attempt to breach the entrance, the assailants employ an altar as a battering ram. Just as chaos threatens to engulf them, the governor arrives to intervene. Despite his efforts to apprehend Sun Wen, he discovers that Sun Wen has already departed unnoticed. Denied entry and unable to locate Sun Wen, the governor reluctantly departs, leaving the situation unresolved. On the following night, under the cover of distraction, the White Lotus Society infiltrates the consulate while the soldiers are preoccupied. Within the chaos, 13 On seeks out Lu Hao to inquire about Foon's whereabouts. However, their conversation is interrupted as the White Lotus disciples attempt to catch her aunt, prompting Lu Hao to intervene with gunfire, enabling her to escape. Upstairs, Fei Hung and Foon are alerted by the gunshot. As more White Lotus disciples breach the main entrance, Fei Hung rushes downstairs, only to be confronted by spears thrusting up from below. Skillfully dodging the onslaught, he retaliates by breaking the spears and hurling them back at the intruders. American soldiers arrive to offer assistance, but their arrival coincides with the emergence of more White Lotus disciples, this time mounted on horseback. Undeterred, Fei Hung re-enters the fray, swiftly dispatching his adversaries. Confronted by a disciple on horseback, he expertly dismounts the rider and commands the horse, neutralizing the remaining foes. Meanwhile, As the governor waits for chaos to subside, he dispatches his men to arrest the White Lotus members and any rebels present. However, one of the Americans witnessed the governor allowing the White Lotus members to escape. In a chilling display of authority, the governor swiftly eliminates the witness, declaring that this is China, not Britain. Unbeknownst to him, 13 Aunt witnesses the entire grisly scene. Fei Hung, accompanied by Lu Hao masquerading as Foon, ventures to the White Lotus monastery under the guise of seeking membership. Upon their arrival, they are required to bow before the chief and receive his blessing. However, the chief's blessings is a ruse, as he attempts to stab Fei Hung with a knife instead. Swiftly reacting, Fei Hung counters the attack and demands to see their master Gao Gong. When the disciples refuse, they swarm Fei Hung, prompting him to defend himself using his umbrella, striking multiple enemies with precision. With Master Gao Gong still elusive, Fei Hung takes matters into his own hand, destroying the altar in a bold move, threatening to burn down the altar unless Gao Gong emerges. Fei Hung's ultimatum forces the master to appear. Fei Hung immediately engages Azure Dragon and White Tiger before confronting Gao Gong himself. The confrontation escalates as they grapple atop the altar, with Fei Hung unleashing his shadowless kicks to knock Gao Gong down. Despite Gao Gong's attempt to retaliate with his spear, Fei Hung employs his Gao double leg sweep technique, propelling Gao Gong into a hot pot. As Gao Gong refuses to surrender, Fei Hung delivers a final blow, kicking him to the altar and impaling him on one of the hands. Revelation of the metal plate hidden within Gao Gong's tank top adds to shock the disciples as they witness their Grand Master defeat in disbelief. Fei Hung and Lu Hao rendezvous with Foon at the Salted Shrimp Bar to obtain the registered name. However, their plans are disrupted when soldiers suddenly appear, forcing them to flee. In the chaos, Foon is shot, but fortunately, his pocket watch deflects the bullet. But tragically, Lu Hao is also shot while shielding Foon and Fei Hung from gunfire. With Foon leading the way, Fei Hung carries the wounded Lu Hao on his back as they attempt to escape. When they reach a dead end, Lu Hao selfishly decides to burn the documents containing the rebels' names to prevent them from falling into the authorities' hand. Just as they're about to be apprehended, the governor arrives, sparking a fierce battle between Fei Hung and himself. Scaling to higher ground, Fei Hung grabs a giant bamboo stick to thwart the governor's pursuit of Foon. He possesses a crucial document. Armed with bamboo sticks, they engage in a relentless duel, smashing pots and leaping from wall to wall. As their confrontation reaches a stalemate, Fei Hung switches to a one-handed approach, gaining the upper hand. Meanwhile, Foon and Fei Hung search for an exit only to find themselves trapped. Taking the battle outside, the governor employs a cloth whip, inadvertently creating an opening in the wall for Foon to escape. However, the governor manages to strike Foon with the whip, prompting Fei Hung to deliver a decisive shadowless kick. Ultimately, Fei Hung concludes the battle by delivering a fatal bamboo strike to the governor's throat. The film ends with Fei Hung and Foon arriving at the pier as they witness Sun Wen and 13 Aunt departing on a boat. What's going on, everyone? Hope you're having a magnificent day. Hi, my name is Cow Showdown, and I hope you enjoyed the movie. Let me know what you guys think about Once Upon a Time in China 2, and don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace!